What's up, buddy, man? It's the Bronco at the front coming at you with another reaction video. We got us a video about non-stop football. Go down and subscribe to that, man, right now before you watch this reaction. We got the greatest rivalries in football history, let me guess. We gonna have El Clásico. Or I wonder if it's limited to just players or just teams. It's probably gonna be both. So if it's both, Messi, Ronaldo, of course. We gonna have El Clásico. We gonna have the Manchester Derby, San Siro Derby. And it's probably like some rivalries between players back in the day that I just don't know. But just most recently, all I know is Messi and Ronaldo. Let's see what go there. Hopefully Mbappe and Erling become a rivalry in the future. Hopefully that's the new like Messi and Ronaldo. No, I'm not saying that they're replacing Messi and Ronaldo. Delete your comments, scroll back up. I'm saying that this generation is like, we need a big rivalry, man. Let's see what go down.
Wouldn't be the same without local derbies. Football wouldn't be the same without local derbies. Victory or defeat in these matches can make or break a team's season.
Yup.
Here are the biggest rivalries in the world.
Okay, these teams. Go shout out, go subscribe.
Derby.
North London
North
Derby
London comes to a standstill whenever Arsenal take on Tottenham. If you're a fan of either club, this is the game.
The last one was crazy,
the rivalry
right?
began in 1913 when Arsenal moved from South London to the north of the capital.
Hey.
Bad blood between the clubs increased 6 years later when Arsenal were controversially elected to the First Division at Spurs' expense. That sparked a feud that's still going strong more than 100 years later.
At Spurs' expense, what they mean? So they had an option to choose between the two, and they chose Arsenal instead of Tottenham. Let me turn. I can't even turn the caption.
Some derbies are cagey and cautious, but the one in North London usually entertains.
Yep.
There have been some brilliant matches between them over the years. Spurs fans will always remember beating Arsenal 3-1 in an FA Cup semi in 1991. Arsenal fans will never forget winning the Premier League title at White Hart Lane in 2002.
Y'all not gonna remember that either.
Have the upper hand overall, winning 79 derbies to Tottenham 60.
Woo!
El Clásico.
19 game
There's no
advantage.
bigger game on the planet.
Tottenham.
Barcelona versus Real Madrid.
We got El
The
Clásico.
world stops every time El Clásico comes around. From Singapore to Sao Paulo and Lagos to London. Barcelona and Real Madrid have long dominated Spanish football.
I wish I could have went to the Camp Nou, man. Look at that. Look at that beautiful sight. Hopefully, I wonder what it's going to look like with the renovations, man, because this looks beautiful. All right, here. God damn.
Real Madrid have long dominated Spanish football.
And Real Madrid stayed in the Bernabeu looks a little too corporate. Like, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? That hoe ain't got no left flair to it. That hoe ain't got no charm. Like, look at this.
London
versus
El Clásico comes around. From Singapore to Sao Paulo and Lagos to London. Barcelona
this, man.
and Real Madrid have long dominated Spanish football. These two clubs are so big that many Spaniards support one of them as their second team. Madrid and Barcelona have provided a home to numerous world-class players down the years. Alfredo Di Stefano, Johan Cruyff, Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have all played for one of the two giants.
Wow, whoa. You know how many legends old boy just skipped out on? He named 4 to 5 Barcelona legends, but go skip out on, he only go name, 2 Real Madrid legends? Come on now, you missing, Ronaldo Phenomenino. You missing, goddamn, David Beckham? Come on now, you feel me?
Ronaldo, Luis Figo,
there you go.
and
Okay,
Michael
my bad.
played for both.
My bad,
El Clásico reached its peak in the early 2010s when Pep Guardiola was in charge of Barca and Jose Mourinho managed Real Madrid. This is a derby brimming with history
Man, I'm mad I missed
and
this
star
era.
quality. The Northwest Derby.
Northwest.
Manchester United and Liverpool are the two most successful
United
teams
and
in
Liverpool.
English football. United have won the league title 20 times compared to Liverpool's 19. But the Reds have done better in the Champions League, winning that trophy 6 times compared to United's 3. The feud between these two clubs isn't just about what happens on the pitch. Manchester and Liverpool are just 35 miles apart. As the two biggest cities in the northwest of England, they've clashed over much more than football.
And you know what's funny? When a lot of y'all be like, with Americans, I be like, bro, support your local, bro. Support your local. I said this on Twitch plenty of times. The journey from where I'm at to FC Dallas, even though FC Dallas not even in Dallas, it's in Frisco. That shit is like an hour and 14 minutes away, barring traffic. That's the same distance as Liverpool to Manchester. The two big ass rivals is the same distance as me to my local club.
More than football. Bragging rights are also up for grabs when it comes to music, culture, and pretty much everything else you can think of.
I've been to Manchester, but not Liverpool
since
yet.
The building of the Manchester Ship Canal took business away from Liverpool in 1893.
This is historical
the clubs
stuff.
have tended to have eras of dominance. United were the team to beat in the late 60s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Liverpool were the kings of England in the 70s and 80s. This is a rivalry defined by managers more than players. In the United corner are the legendary duo of Matt Busby and Alex Ferguson.
Oh yeah,
representing Liverpool are Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley. Those four are some of the best managers Britain has ever produced. El Superclásico.
Superclásico. Yeah, we got some South American ball.
Is a football-mad country, and the capital, Buenos Aires, is where most of the action takes place. Incredibly, the city has
that shit looks like the slums. Damn, look at Buenos Aires. I ain't know Buenos Aires look that bad. Damn, this shit look like Singapore or something.
Most of the action takes place. Incredibly, the city has 24 professional football teams. The Big Five, or the Cinco Grandes, have dominated Argentine.
Let me see if I can name these teams. We got Racing Club. We got... Fuck, I can't name these. Where is Boca Junior? This is Boca Junior. This is Racing Club. I forgot who Boca Junior rivals was.
All for decades. But to most overseas fans, it's all about the big two, Boca Juniors and River Plate. The first meeting was in 1913, and the animosity hasn't cooled down since. Boca used to be the team of the working class, while River represented the aristocracy. The lines are blurred these days, but the hate between them is as strong
working
as ever.
Class versus
Sometimes the
royalty
rivalry can spill over into violence. Like when the 2019 Copa Libertadores final was cancelled after Boca's team bus was attacked by River fans. But the passionate atmosphere and vibrant colour inside the stadiums is what makes this derby special.
Boy.
The Old Firm Derby.
That boy threw a brick. Y'all seen that?
The
busted they window out.
After Boca's team bus
I'm sure
was
somebody got
by
hurt
River
too.
fans. But the passionate atmosphere and
vibrant
colour inside the
shit like this happened, and if this was in America, bro, America can host the World Cup. Look at these damn goons out here throwing bricks at windows. Stop throwing bricks at windows. How about that?
It was cancelled.
Talk about some America can't host no World Cup. How about y'all fucking behave?
But the passionate atmosphere and vibrant colour inside the stadiums is what makes this derby special. The Old Firm Derby.
Old Firm Derby? Celtic versus
the Scottish
Rangers?
Premiership has run for 124 seasons since its launch in 1890. In only 18 of those campaigns has a team other than Celtic or Rangers won the title. Competing for silverware year in, year out was always going to produce a fierce feud between the two biggest clubs in Glasgow. But the antipathy between Celtic and Rangers runs much, much deeper than that.
It say this league has existed for 120-some years. That's kind of like my gripe with football. So in that league, in 120-something years, only 18 years a team other than Scotland, other than these two teams, Celtic and Rangers, has won. Come on, y'all don't see no problem with that. What's the point of even being a fan of another team?
Associated with Glasgow's Catholic population, Rangers have traditionally drawn their support from the city's Protestants. The rivalry has as much to do with Northern Ireland as Scotland.
I missed it. Hold on, what they say?
The antipathy between Celtic and Rangers runs much, much deeper than that. Sectarianism runs through the heart of the Old Firm Derby. Celtic have long been associated with Glasgow's Catholic population.
Sound like some religious
Rangers
stuff.
have traditionally drawn their support from the city's Protestants. The rivalry has as much to do with Northern Ireland as Scotland. You'll see plenty of Irish flags at Celtic Park, whereas the Union Jack flies at Ibrox. Rangers have won 4 more titles than Celtic down the years. But the gap has narrowed in the last decade. It's 55-51 at the moment. Who'll make it to 61st?
So they beef is all over like political, religious stuff, that's above my pay grade right there. I don't know too much about that.
Derby della Madonnina.
Della Madonnina.
Unlike the other derbies we've covered so far, AC Milan and Inter share a stadium,
Serie A,
the world-famous San Siro. But as you and your siblings know, living in the same home...
That bitch look like a...
The world-famous
this bitch look like an oil rig.
Siblings know, living in the same home doesn't always get on well. The Derby della Madonnina, to give it its Italian name...
I'm sorry for pausing. These colors mesh so well, so beautifully, man. Mwah! Red and black, and they blue and black. Ooh.
Dates back to 1909. It was originally a class battle between the bourgeoisie of Inter and the blue-collar workers of Milan. But that's not really the case these days. The rivalry endures because of location, but also because Inter and Milan have similar records.
So AC Milan used to be the club for the people,
on
and
Serie
Inter
A
was for the rich
but
people.
Milan are 7-3 up when it comes to Champions Leagues. Watching a Derby della Madonnina should be on every football fan's bucket list. Just watch out for flying flares. Isn't that right, Dida?
Y'all
Manchester Derby.
Hey.
Liverpool aren't Manchester United's only rivals. Over the last 10
flare at
years,
that man
United
head,
have
boy,
become
I would've.
that every football
Man,
fan's bucket
what was
list.
his injury?
Just watch out for flying flares. Isn't that right, Dida?
Bro, I would've. Boy.
Manchester Derby. Liverpool
Boy.
aren't Manchester United's only rivals.
Manchester
Over the
Derby.
last 10 years, United have become increasingly concerned with their noisy neighbours from down the road. Manchester United versus Manchester City used to be a one-sided rivalry. As recently as the late 90s, the clubs were 2 divisions apart. City returned to the Premier League in 2000 and won the occasional game against United.
City traveled 2 divisions in 10 years?
But at the end of the season, it was invariably the Red Devils who were celebrating with silverware. That's changed over the last decade. Since 2010, City have won 5 Premier League titles to United's 2. Matches between the two clubs are much more intense now that they're both competing at the top of the table. Don't underestimate the local bragging rights either. City fans have always liked to claim that they have more fans than United in Manchester. It's hard to prove whether that's true or not.
Hey man,
But the
it
constant
probably is
taunts
true.
and jibes between the two sets of supporters show just how much this derby means.
It could be these true
Derby
these days
of the
because of the
eternal
success.
enemies.
I'm surprised how he didn't mention how City has won the Prem like 4 years in a damn row.
Is there a better name for a football rivalry than the Derby of the Eternal Enemies?
Derby of the
It's
Eternal.
also known
Gotta
as
be
the
some
mother
Greek
of all
shit,
battles in Greece, where Olympiakos and Panathinaikos
Olympiakos
are
and
always vying for
Panathinaikos.
supremacy. Panathinaikos are from the centre of Athens. They traditionally represented Athenian high society. On the other hand, Olympiakos hail from the gritty port of Piraeus. And their support...
It's always grit versus class when it comes to these two classes, man. I'm always gonna be on the grit side.
has tended to be working class. Just like other derbies, those class differences have faded over the years, but the antagonism between the clubs hasn't softened one bit. Flares, fireworks and tear gas are regular sights at a derby game in the Greek capital. Only twice since 1994 has a team other than Olympiakos or Panathinaikos won the title. Olympiakos are the more successful of the two.
What did he say?
Olympiakos or Capital. Only twice since 1994 has a team other than
94.
Olympiakos or
I mean, that's better
Panathinaikos
than
won
the
the
Scotland
title.
shit.
Olympiakos are the more successful of the two domestically, but Panathinaikos have done better on the continent. They once reached the final of the European Cup.
They
but
did?
were beaten by Ajax at Wembley. Merseyside Derby.
Merseyside Derby.
Liverpool versus Everton is often known as the friendly derby.
I was supposed to be going to
Just
this
because of
game
the
right here, man.
Liverpool versus
the last one, but I already told y'all this story plenty of times. I was supposed to be going to Merseyside last year. I bought my hotel. I bought my plane ticket. The only thing left was to buy the game ticket. I usually wait till the last minute to buy the game ticket because the prices usually drop approaching towards game day. And then Klopp decides to announce a week later or 2 weeks later that this is going to be his last season coaching. So guess what? No. Yeah, so guess what? I lied. I actually bought the tickets to the City and Liverpool game. Not the Merseyside, but the Merseyside tickets went up too. And, all the tickets of the games, of the home games, went up like crazy when Klopp announced he was leaving, so I couldn't afford it, so I lost my money on a hotel. Unfortunately.
Everton is often known as the friendly derby. But just because many families are divided between red and blue doesn't mean this fixture's lacking in conflict. Now, not everyone knows that Everton used to play their home games at Anfield. In 1892, club directors decided to move to Goodison Park. But the chairman, John Holding, disagreed. He made his frustrations known by starting a new team, Liverpool Football Club.
Oh, so
this
Everton
is
was
the
first.
running top-flight derby in England. It's been
so he started a new club because he disagreed on where to play football
he
at?
the move to play their home fixtures lacking in conflict. Now, not everyone knows that Everton used to play their home games at Anfield. In 1892, club directors decided to move to Goodison Park. But the chairman, John Holding, disagreed. He made his frustrations known by starting a new team.
Bro, that is so petty to the max. You go start a whole new team just because y'all not playing in the building that you want them to play in. Hey, he was successful though.
This is the longest running top-flight derby in England. It's been playing every single season since 1962, and the all-time results are closer than you might think. Liverpool have won 54 league games, while Everton have won 48.
Okay,
renowned
yeah,
for
close.
a raucous atmosphere in the stands and full-blooded tackles on the pitch, the derby's also produced some moments of unity. Liverpool and Everton fans sat together at the 1984 League Cup final, and the blue half of the city stood behind their red neighbours after the Hillsborough disaster of 1989.
Because they basically damn near the same team.
Derby
now that you mention
Lisboa.
that. Derby de
Some
Lisbon.
derbies
Okay, we got
take
some
a while
Portugal.
to get going, but that wasn't the case in Lisbon. Sporting CP and Benfica were at each other's throats before...
It's crazy. I'm sorry for pausing, y'all. I did not know that Benfica and Sporting was rivals. No cap. I never heard of this.
Played a game against each other. Benfica had reasons to be annoyed. Just before the first ever meeting, Sporting signed 8 of their players who were lured across the city by the promise of better working conditions.
Sheesh.
The touch paper was lit on that day in 1907, and it's been burning ever since. Portuguese football is all about the big three of Porto, Benfica and Sporting. Benfica have won the most titles and have a better record in Europe too. But Sporting have had their moments, including a 7-1 win against Benfica in 1986. These clubs produce some of Portugal's greatest. The legendary Eusebio made his name at Benfica,
I thought
becoming
he was
a footballing icon. East London versus South London.
South London.
English football has made huge strides since hooliganism blighted the game in the 1970s.
Behave! England cannot host the Euros, bro! Why nobody wasn't saying that?
And 80s. During that era, the hooligan firms of West Ham and Millwall were 2 of the most notorious in the country. The 2 clubs don't play each other much these days. West Ham are established in the Premier League and Millwall are in the Championship.
I was just finna say.
But the feud between teams who used to be just 3 miles apart hasn't died. A cup game in 2009 proved just that. It became known as the Upton Park Riot after numerous pitch invasions and fighting on the streets. A Millwall fan was even stabbed in the chest outside the ground.
He what?
Fighting on the streets. A Millwall fan was even stabbed in the chest.
Stabbed in it, bro! B! Hey.
It's a good thing they don't play each other all that
This
often.
how y'all act.
Derby della Capitale.
This is how y'all act. Like that. Stabbing folks over a damn game, bro. And y'all be defending it. Bro, if it's more than a game. Bro, stop it. Stop it.
The north of Italy is
Acting like
wealthier than
damn
the
children.
south, and it's also produced more success.
Well, rivalry, he said.
They don't play each other all that often. Derby della Capitale.
Derby della Capitale.
The north of Italy is wealthier than the
It's
south,
Roma and
it's also
Lazio.
produced more successful football teams. AC Milan, Inter and Juventus are dominant forces in the Italian game. When it comes to passion though, it's hard to beat Rome. The rivalry between Roma and Lazio is as fierce as they come. With only 5 league titles between them, winning the derby is often the most important part of these teams' seasons. Roma and Lazio fans care more about winning the derby than where they finish in the league.
Because they know they ain't gonna win.
Former Lazio star Paolo Di Canio. The clubs share the Stadio Olimpico, with Lazio's ultras congregating in the Curva Nord and Roma fans gathering in the Curva Sud. The pre-match choreography is a sight to behold, with numerous banners on display at both ends of the stadium. South Wales Derby.
South Wales.
There are 92 teams
Okay, they
in
got
England's
the
top
boys
4
in
divisions,
Wales. I heard beefed
but
up.
only 89 of them are English. Newport County.
What he said?
Stadium. South Wales Derby. There are 92 teams in England's top 4 divisions, but only 89 of them are English. Newport County, Swansea City and Cardiff City are all based in Wales, but play in the English system. 2 of those clubs absolutely detest each other. There's no sign of...
That boy is not throwing no solid punch that's finna connect. He finna break his hand, he land that punch. It look like he finna drop an elbow on somebody. Look at that. Goddamn barbarians,
absolutely
man.
Detest each other. There's no sign of Welsh solidarity between Swansea and Cardiff. There used to be friendly relations between the clubs, but everything changed after some feisty games in the 1960s.
They would say, oh,
Derbies
really?
in subsequent decades were blighted by violence and hooliganism. Fighting is rarer these days, but only because of tight restrictions. Welsh police usually insist on Cardiff versus Swansea being a bubble match, where away fans are banned from travelling independently to the stadium. InterContinental Derby.
InterContinental.
Countless footballers have described Turkish stadiums as the most intimidating they've ever played in. The decibel levels are off the charts whenever Galatasaray and Fenerbahce lock horns in the InterContinental Derby. The name is self-explanatory. Gala are from the European side of Istanbul, while Fener are based a few miles to the east in Asia.
I did not know that Istanbul, Turkey. I did not know Turkey was split down in the middle. In terms of Europe and Asia. That's crazy. You learn something new every day, man. And before you say, oh, you don't know geography, I didn't know that about goddamn Missouri. I didn't know Missouri was split in, or Kansas City. I didn't know, and that's the state of the United States. I didn't know Kansas City was split in half. One side is Missouri, one side is Kansas. You feel me?
These 2 clubs have always fought to be the biggest and best in Turkey's largest city. Their passionate supporters live and breathe football. And the tension in the air is palpable on Derby Day.
Europe side and
if you
Asian
have questioned
side.
Graham Souness's bravery, remember that he planted a Galatasaray flag in the centre of the Fenerbahce pitch when he was Gala's manager.
Disrespectful.
It wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done, he said later.
As the manager, it's crazy.
Which other
I'll run
derbies
through a
would
wall
you
for
add to
that
the
man.
list? Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe.
Go subscribe
so
to
to
Non-Stop Football, bro. Great ass video. Greatest rivalries in football history. I gotta go to one of these rivalries one day. Hopefully I can find me a sponsor. Because I can't keep coming out of pocket for these games no more, man. I'm not made out of money, bro. I'm not made out of money. I'm down tremendously. That's why I ain't been traveling. I ain't traveled since the Copa America. I'm out.